The 2007 Toyota FJ Cruiser is arguably the single finest all-around sport utility of all time. Aloha guys, it's Joe Tunney, and we're taking a look at my wife and I's favorite vehicle, our 2007 Toyota FJ Cruiser. Now we have a few different things that we like to drive and ride in the garage, but probably our favorite is this 2007 Toyota FJ Cruiser. The reason is it really is perfect for everything that we like to do here in Hawaii. And so follow along today. We're going to take it doing some chores to a construction site like this house we're building right up the street. We're going to take it to one of the most beautiful beaches you've ever seen in your life. And then we're also going to take it on an off-road torture test to find out what the limits are for this 2007 Toyota FJ Cruiser. And I have a feeling that not only is it the perfect vehicle for everything we like to do here in Hawaii, it's the perfect vehicle for everything you like to do where you call home as well. Now, one of the things that makes the FJ Cruiser so great is it's so practical for doing normal things like running to the grocery store. Take a look in back. There's plenty of storage behind the rear seat. And then also, if it's so equipped, you get this great subwoofer in the back. It actually has a really nice stereo system. So let's take a look in the back seat. So both sides have swing out doors for easy access to the back. And in the back, I'm 6 feet tall, 180 pounds, and you could pretty comfortably seat 3 different 6-footers in the back. So it's plenty spacious with reasonable leg room in the back. You know, one of our favorite sport utilities we've ever had is my wife's famous sexy Lexi, her 2003 Lexus GX470. And surprisingly, the FJ Cruiser is exactly the same vehicle as the GX470. They're both based on the worldwide sold, but not sold in the United States, Toyota Land Cruiser Prado platform, this one on the 2-door Prado platform, and that's why they're so strong. That's why they're so well built. The Lexus has a softer ride, which is designed to be driven comfortably on-road, where everything is so overbuilt in the FJ Cruiser because it is clearly designed to go off-road. One thing about the FJ Cruiser is it does have really nice power, and it's surprisingly nimble given that there's just 239 horsepower on 2007 through 2009 models. 239 horsepower to go with 278 foot-pounds of torque. So even a slightly lifted one like this with big off-road tires going up a hill as we're heading up towards Mauna Kea actually drives in a very spirited way. This is a vehicle that's going to go 0 to 60 in the 7.5 second range on a normal day, and that's actually not all that bad for what it is. Gas mileage on this is about 17 miles per gallon combined driving overall, at least by our experience. And then again, this is a slightly lifted one with chunky off-road tires. Now, one thing that makes the 2010 and newer models a little bit nicer is that the engine, it has a little bit more power. It has 259 horsepower, even though that does come at the expense of some torque numbers as the torque goes down to 270 pound-feet of torque. But the big upgrade on getting the 2010 model actually isn't the 20 extra horsepower. It's the fact that 2010 models and newer run on regular gas, where 2007 through 2009 runs on premium gas. Now, a couple of features I want you to take a look at right here in the center console. One of them is called A-Trac. And how A-Trac works is A-Trac works in lieu of a posi traction type of rear end. So if one wheel starts to spin, typically there would be a torque vectoring differential of some sort that would allow power to be evenly distributed between the rear wheels to prevent some individual tire spin. The A-Trac has a similar goal in mind, but does it differently. The A-Trac uses braking to actually break the power from the wheel that is spinning freely. And that feature can be used both on-road and off-road. Also, there's a center locking differential. Now, a center locking differential is going to force the amount of power to go equally between the rear wheels, and that is exclusively designed for going off-road. Now, we go off-road in this quite a lot. We're going to go off-road in it here in a minute, but that's not a feature that you necessarily will need to use all that often in your FJ Cruiser. I'll be honest, you could leave your FJ Cruiser in two-wheel drive 99% of the time, and with the right tires, you could pretty much do anything that you'd ever dream of doing in an off-road 4x4. But more important than all that is on-road, for a daily driving vehicle, it's actually super comfortable. Sure, you feel some bumps, but it's really not all that bad. This was designed to be a vehicle for younger buyers, and Jin Won Kim, who designed it, he himself was only 24 years old when he won the competition to have his design chosen by Toyota. And so there's always been that kind of youthful, vivacious energy about it. But the truth is, it doesn't matter who you are. I mean, our car is predominantly driven by my wife, and it doesn't matter if you're young or just young at heart. This is a really easy vehicle to drive. The quality is second to none compared to anything in the industry. It might be the single best built sport utility on the market. It drives so nicely on-road, and it's so unbelievably capable off-road. And then, of course, resale value is second to nothing in the industry. In fact, more than just fabulous resale value, we're at a point now where there's collector value, and vehicle prices aren't going down, they're actually going up. I think you can make a really strong case that this isn't just the best sport utility on the market, it's perhaps the single best all-around sport utility of all time. So we're going to turn right here at Kikaha Kai State Park. We're going to get off of the highway and do something a little more interesting. Now you'll see, one reason you never want to buy a rental car that came from the state of Hawaii is that everybody wants to take their Hyundai rental car and see if they can turn it into a four-wheel drive over the lava fields. And you get a concept known as high centering, where the bottom of the car gets totally destroyed. And let's see if the gates are open here. So, one thing about the four-wheel drive system in an FJ Cruiser, especially one like this that's already set up with off-road tires, you really don't need to be in four-wheel drive all that often. But it's a good idea to use the four-wheel drive every once in a while. So all I'm going to do is reach down here. I'm in two-wheel drive, or 2H or H2 right now. And I'm just shifting down into H4. Now you'll notice I didn't even have to slow down or anything like that. You can shift all the way up to 50 miles an hour. It's a good idea to run the four-wheel drive system at least 10 miles a month, according to Toyota. The reason is you want to make sure all the little parts in the four-wheel drive system stay lubricated. So, fun place for everybody to catch up and take some selfies as we kind of wander into the deeper muck here. And you'll see this is where the rental cars stop, and it's all about the four-wheel drives. Now, one of the complaints you'll hear about the big island of Hawaii, especially on the Kohala coast, that's where we are, the Gold Coast, is that there aren't enough beaches like there are in other islands. The truth is, we have some of the most spectacular beaches in the world. We just don't have any signs telling you where they are. And we don't feel the need to pave the roads to let a lot of rental cars go fill them up. And so they tend to be very private. And that's just how we like it. And now we're going to take a quick hike down, and we're going to go to Ka'ele Hulu Hulu, which is a fabulous beach just over my right shoulder. Come on along. Like I said, some of the best beaches in the world. Take a look for yourself. Taking a look at how we go from two-wheel drive high to four-wheel drive high. Now, because we're going to go over some deeper drops, we're going to go into four-wheel drive low. And how we go into four-wheel drive low is like this. We come to a complete stop. We put the vehicle in neutral. We put the four-wheel drive system in two-wheel drive low, and now we put it back in drive. Just that simple. This is going to help us negotiate some of this tough stuff. So since the paved road starts up ahead, we're going to go back into four-wheel drive high. And what we do is just the opposite of what we did a moment ago. We put the vehicle back in neutral, and we put it right back into four-wheel drive high, and we are good to go.
Oh, wow. Vespas. They're in for a treat.
Now, one thing to keep in mind about the FJ is that whether you have one with some chunky off-road tires or lifted or just plain Jane straight out of the box, you're going to get almost 10 inches of ground clearance, 9.6 inches of ground clearance, no matter what you get. So plenty of ground clearance for doing some pretty adventurous stuff. You'll see some of these big indentations, and you might wonder if that's going to cause some problems, but the suspension actually has 9 inches of travel up and down, and so plenty of cushion for things that get in your way or for potholes or drops that happen along the way.